So go ahead and introduce yourself really quick.
Hi, my name is Benjamin Bazaldua. I grew up in Mapton, Washington. I've been in the military for about 22 years, 8 months, and I only recently retired.
When were you drafted or when did you enlist?
I enlisted in September 8th, 1998.
What can you tell me about that day?
Well, that day was quite interesting. I remember my mom, my dad, and my brother Jerry, the older brother. They got ready. My mom stayed behind because she didn't want to see me leave, and my dad, my brother Jerry, took me to um, the recruiter, and from there we left from where was it? Tri-Cities, I believe it was, and flew over here to Spokane and spent the night in a hotel with some other people that were getting ready to enlist as well. And we went through what's called MEPS, and there they give you your whole physical, make sure your body is meeting the minimum strength and requirements to enlist.
What conflict did you serve in and which places have you been stationed?
Well, the conflict I've served in, where pretty much right away when I got to my first duty station, was the Kosovo conflict in Italy. And that started in 1999 and went through there, got to see let's see, I wasn't involved in Iraq, but I did get sent to Afghanistan, and I've been several other places since then. I've been to Jordan, Afghanistan, Qatar, Kuwait, and Manas, which is close to Russia.
So when you were away, how did you stay in touch with your friends and family back home?
Fortunately, due to technology, phone calls, and as technology improved, it got easier and easier to communicate. But most of the time, it was just phone calls. At the beginning, everything was very limited. We were only allowed phone calls back home about once a week, and those were about 15 to 20-minute calls. But any letters or old correspondence to the mail was allowed, as long as we didn't say anything that was considered need-to-know basis.
Right. So what are some things you remember most about your different deployments?
Them all being either very, very hot or very cold, and lots of dust. None of them I can say were particularly enjoyable, but they each had their own challenges. And that's what I mostly remember. Lots and lots of work, not a whole lot of free time, very little in fact, and pretty much work and sleep for 6 months.
What's a phrase or word that will never be the same to you now that you have served?
Knuckle up.
What does that mean?
Knuckle up. Knuckle up means basically do the job regardless of the adversity. That's saying it nicely. You do the job no matter what your obstacles are. You find a way around your obstacles. Get the job done.
So what has been kind of difficult to communicate to your family and talk to them about your military service?
The amount of dedication it requires, especially going past your first enlistment and staying 20 years. 20 years does fly by when you look back at it, but it can be a very long time to withstand that, especially as you see friends come and go as years go by. You make friends when you see them leave. You get used to living in one location only to get up and leave again. I've been in 10 different duty stations, not deployments, but duty stations. So I've averaged between 2 and 2.5 years at each location. So you never really get used to or make some lasting friendships as much as you would like.
What was one thing you missed about the States the most while you were deployed? So what's the one thing you missed a lot?
Free time. That disappears when you're deployed. Like I said, it's mostly just work. 6 to 7 days a week, 12 to 15-hour days. And you still have to find time to sleep, communicate with family or friends back home, and find time to exercise, because being in the military, you're expected to keep a certain level of fitness and still get the job done.
All right, go ahead and end with what your rank was, and then I'll just thank you for being with us tonight.
I ended with Master Sergeant, and that's a senior non-commissioned officer. And you run basically your flight or group of individuals for the jobs they're doing. And overall, the job itself can be very satisfying and very stressful at the same time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.